Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Annabeth, and if you are new here, I'm so glad you are joining us today. And if you're a returning viewer, welcome back. This is episode 5, I think, of my Adventures with the Sock Machine series that I'm kind of putting together. And I've decided that, hey, today's the day. I am going to crank some socks on camera for you guys. I have, admittedly, already cranked 2 pairs of socks for myself. I have a long pair here. This was in a one-of-a-kind self-striping from the Little Foxes that I got in her most recent in-stock update in her shop. So I have a long pair here, and then I also made a shorty pair with the same self-striping. The shorties were more of an experiment to see like how far I could get if I made a sock with these, all the notes that I took down for these socks, like how many leg rows I made and how many foot rows I needed to be my size. If I made a sock of this size with like this many leg rows, how far into a pair of shorties I could get. So I started off with the same one-of-a-kind self-striping, and then I finished it off with No One Mourns the Wicked, same base, the Red Fox sock base from the Little Foxes, and I just finished off this pair with that color. So I have cranked 2 pairs. There have been many trials and many errors over the course of cranking these 2 pairs of socks, so now I feel a little bit more comfortable in my ability to crank a pair on camera for you today. So I'm going to do my best with that. We have a little bit of like a different setup. I've moved my desk up to a more like standing position because I think that's going to be a bit more comfortable for me to crank in today rather than sitting in my desk chair. So I'll probably try and set up the camera so you can just see the machine. I probably won't be in it as much, but that's okay because with like the other cranking videos I've done, I haven't done a lot of narrating while cranking anyway. I've pretty much just like cranked, and then when I'm editing I set it at like 4 or 8 times speed. Yeah, so that's about it. So I'm gonna go ahead and crank another pair of socks today. I am planning on another pair of shorties because I have this much left from No One Mourns the Wicked on Red Fox sock. This is just what's left over from the little bit that I wound up to finish this pair off. And this is what I have left. So I've already weighed both of these, and I have just over 50 grams. I think I have about, let's see, this was about 7 and this was 44. So yeah, I have like 51 grams of yarn, which according to the pattern on the Dean & Bean website for shorties, that is, you would need about 50 grams for a pair of shorties. So I should be able to make a complete pair with this yarn today. So nice green, kind of matches my cardigan, first garment finished object of the new year. I haven't recorded a knitting update yet. I will soon. But yeah, this look, first YouTube look of my first finished object. Yay. Alright, I'm getting off track now. So I'm just gonna move the camera over, and just, we'll see how this goes, I guess. Yeah. So let's get into it. Charlie, this right here is the curse of rewinding from a cake, because, yeah. Alright, look out. Dude, stop stepping on it, please. Alright, well, are you freaking kidding me right now? There we go. Alrighty, there's the cone. I did end up cutting off that big snag. I weighed it. It's about somewhere between 4 and 6 grams. I don't know, my scale was being a little funny because obviously it's not like a tight wound cake or anything. So we'll see how far I get with what's already on the cone, or if need be, I will take the time and untangle this and use it to like finish off a toe or whatever's needed. Because heaven forbid I do a cranking video and everything actually goes right for once, right? Alright, well, let's just get into it then. Also, I forgot to say, typically when you start a sock project on your sock machine, you want to do like a solid like 50 row swatch. But since I've worked with this base already, the Red Fox sock base, on this cylinder, it's not like I'm the one holding the yarn or anything, so I'm just going to go ahead and not swatch because that big winding tangle already put me behind for where I want to be right now. So yeah, since I know the space already on this machine, I'm just going to go ahead and dive into it and use the numbers that I used on previous socks because they fit me well. It's the same yarn, it's the same base, it's just a different color. So, alright, now let's get into it. Oh my god, everything's just getting tangled today. What the hell? Alrighty, so I have so far done the hem and then hung the hem. That's where I was going around with my pick tool and picking up stitches for my first row. I've done 20 rows for the foot, and I've just done all the heel decreases, so all the short rows for the first half of the heel. However, I just realized it is almost 12:45, and I haven't eaten lunch yet today, and I'm starting to get hungry. So I'm going to take a pause here. I'll come back in a little bit after I eat some food, because if there is one thing I have learned from learning how to use a sock machine, it is if you are trying to do something or trying to move on to the next step when you're hungry, something is undoubtedly going to go wrong and you're going to turn from hungry to hangry very quickly. So we're going to take a pause here and then I'll come back after I go eat some food. Alrighty, we are back, so I'm going to go ahead and get started with the heel increases now. Alrighty, so we have the first sock done. I'm going to go ahead and weigh what I have left on this cone, just to make sure I'll be okay. And if needed, like I said earlier, I'll untangle this mess and join it in at the end if I do end up needing it. Hopefully I won't, but we'll see. Alright, so first I'm going to weigh the empty cone, zero out, and then let's see. Okay, you know what? I still have 24-ish, assuming that all the cones are the same weight, which they should be pretty close. I have 24 grams left, which is about half of what I had to start with, and that was counting this hot mess. So I should be okay. I say that now. I'm gonna knock on wood. But I should be okay. So let's get into the second sock then. Don't forget the weight again. Okay, so apparently the card that was in my camera got full, so I have no idea when it cut off. But I ran into a bit of a snag here. I forgot to stop when the halfway mark, my blue mark here, was over here to lower the rest of the needles. And unfortunately, I've cranked so far where I have like 5 needles that, like, I'm pretty sure, yeah, I've gone too far, so I can't like push them down real quick right now. So that sucks, and I'm gonna have to figure out how to unknit this. I know there is a way, so I'm gonna have to fix that really quick. There we go, much easier. Okay, so what I'm doing is, there's a little, I don't know, hack in Dean and Bean's unknitting video, where literally you just kind of, well, you take your yarn, like, out of the yarn feeder, and then you just kind of go through and just, like, kind of pull on your working yarn, and because of the way the hooks are, if you pull kind of up and a little bit forward with your hook staying down, it just kind of unknits itself and puts the previous loop back on, which is great. So then I think I need to, yeah, I need to pull all of these up so they don't accidentally re-knit when I come back around. Let's see, do we think that'll be enough? That should be enough. Do a couple more. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna bring that back around and into the yarn feeder. Okay, so then, what am I running into now? Oh, there we go. I didn't pull any of these up high enough. There we go. Okay. I need to pull a couple of these up too so that I can get past. And now, yes, now I'll put all of these, yes, all of these back into work. So that's what I would have done initially. Make sure all of their latches are open. I'm gonna put all the ones that I can. Wait. Oh, wait, those ones are knit already. That's right. Okay, I'm fine. I'm good. Okay, put all of these back into work as well. And then, yep. Make sure they knit again. And we're good. Okay, and put those back into work now that they're on the other side of the yarn feeder. Let me put my heel spring back in, or heel fork, oh my gosh, back in, and we should be good to go. Main mark, oh, main mark's over here, so I went a little bit past than I needed to, past where I needed to. Okay, disengage heel spring, reset row counter. Now we're good for the faux rows. Okay, so now we've reached the break in the yarn. So this is the yarn that's coming off the cone now is the yarn that I originally wound up to finish up that first pair of shorties that I showed you. So we've hit the ends of the like 40 whatever grams that I wound up at the start of this video. So now I just need to join in this new one, and it's kind of fun joining in new yarn. This is the same thing you would do if you were like changing colors for stripes or something. So you literally just, it's called wrapping the needle, so you just make sure one tail is on one side of the next needle that's going to grab the yarn, and you make sure the other tail is on the other side. So I don't know how well you can see that from that angle, but this needle here is the one that's about to grab yarn. So the old yarn is coming on the left side of it. So like if this is the needle, old yarn is on this side and the new yarn is on this side. So it literally like hugs the needle. And there's also a way to weave in ends as you go when you change colors, which is pretty fun. I need another weighted clip. Here it is. But now, given that I have knit 41 out of 56 foot rows, I am now super optimistic that I won't need to untangle all that yarn barf from earlier. Okay, so the weighted clip is just to give like the new yarn some tension too when the needle grabs it. Okay, so I've cranked around, and now the needle that has both ends of the yarn is over here. It's at kind of like, I don't know, 2 o'clock. If you're looking down at the machine like I am, it's probably like 7 o'clock for you guys. So it's really cool how to weave in the ends as you go. So like if you were doing stripes or something, you just find your two ends. It's a little difficult because they're the same color. So pretty much you gotta figure out which one was the old yarn and which one was the new yarn. So I think this one was the new yarn. So that means this side of this round here is all new yarn. But what I can do is going in the opposite direction, so now going around these needles where the old yarn was, I literally just weave it back and forth for like, I don't know, 8, 10, 12 needles, whatever feels right. And then as this section comes around to get yarn from the yarn feeder, it's gonna weave in your end for you, and then you can just like snip it a couple rounds later, which is really helpful. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Alright, I did like 12 or 13 needles there. So the only thing is then I have to like hold, make sure this little loopy, extra loopy gets below the latch on the hooks as it gets closer. Stay down. There we go. Okay, so now the needle that was hugged when we joined the new yarn is about to grab yarn, so I'm going to do the same thing with the other end. Weave it back and forth over like, I don't know, 12 needles. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12. Okay. And I just got to do the same thing. Got to make sure that extra loopy is getting below the latches. Which it is. There we go. And now you can kind of see that end is all woven in for me already. So in a couple rounds I'll just take scissors to it and snip the end. And that'll be one end I don't have to worry about later, which is amazing. Alright, we have reached the toe. With the amount of yarn left, I'm cautiously, emphasis on cautiously, optimistic. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. We officially made it to the end of the toe. This is how much yarn I have left. We're doing good. There we have it. Alrighty. We made it through relatively unscathed. I'm not going to film myself sewing up the toes because I know that's going to take me a really long time, and my back is starting to hurt from the standing. At first it felt good on my back, but now it's getting tired of standing, so I'm going to go sit in a much comfier place, probably on the couch, and sew these toes together, but I don't feel like figuring out where I'm going to put my camera when I sit over there, so I'm going to pretty much end it here. Here's my sock tube. So there's this setup bonnet that we started with, scrap yarn, first sock, more scrap yarn, second sock, final scrap yarn. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Just kind of like seeing the process and everything. I know I didn't talk a lot. I talked a little bit, mostly when things went wrong. But that's okay. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up. You can subscribe to my channel. Probably the next video I post will be my first knitting update of the new year, where I talk about some finished objects more in depth, talk about maybe some acquisitions that I might get by then, and some whips that I'm working on. So you can keep an eye out for that. You can turn on notifications to know when I post, since I don't keep a very regular posting schedule. Yeah, and then I'm sure I'll have more cranking videos in the future. I have a few ideas bouncing around my head for things I want to try with the machines, so I might document when I do those little experiments as well. But yeah, other than that, I'm gonna go sit in a slightly comfier spot, finish up these toes, and I guess move on with my day. So with that being said, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!